Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Art of Creation Homestead. My name is Jason, and I'm out here. I'm gonna do this as I'm feeding my chickens because it seems kind of right, and my chickens do need a little bit of food. And what I'm doing here right now is I'm feeding them some soaked feed. It's a process I've talked about before, but in our soaked feed, it's just mostly the dust from the feed that we feed that they haven't used. And so, anyways, as I come here and give them this feed, just kind of limits the waste. Let's talk about how much should you feed your chicken. Hey kiddos, you guys excited? Huh? Watch out girls. There you go. Have at it. As they dig into that one, I got another pan up here the same way. One thing about this is that I've seen some people talk recently about overfeeding your chickens. And is it possible to overfeed your chickens? And I would say that it is possible to overfeed them with like treats and unhealthy feed. If you're feeding your chickens a bunch of scratch grains, a bunch of breads, or sugary, well, I should say starchy, like fruits or whatnot. If you're feeding a bunch of that kind of stuff, then maybe you can overfeed them and cause them problems. One person I'd seen was concerned about fatty liver, and if your chicken's diet consists mostly of their feed ration, of the actual layer feed you give them, fatty liver shouldn't be an issue. All right, another one down. Hey kids, got a little escape artist, don't we, Layla? Come here. All right, doing all right, Layla? Yeah. A lot of people get concerned about, how much should they be feeding their chickens for multiple reasons. Like, maybe you just want to know how to budget for your feed, how much feed you need to have on hand, how much it's going to cost you, things of that nature. And that's all fine and dandy, and that's good. That's fine. It's your planning. That's okay. But some people really believe and really tell you that your chickens will just eat and eat and eat and eat like a pig and never get full, and they'll eat too much and cause themselves harm. If that were really the case, then there'd be more than 2 chickens on this feed right now. Honestly, because I've got a bunch of chickens through here, and they're not all just picking out. A few of them might be, because they love the soaked feed, but not all of them are. As you see, there's some in here, standing around, some over here, one right here, and one just wanted to talk to you. Hey, Tootie. Hey, Tootie. As Tootie grabs the microphone thing, I don't know if you hear me do that or not. But if that was the case, I have 24 chickens. There would be 24 chickens all around this food, but that's just simply not what's going on. So I think as you think about this thing moving forward, you want to think about, okay, having a balanced diet. That's good. They need that balanced diet. They need proper nutrition. If you feel like your chickens aren't getting proper nutrition and there's something wrong with them, it might be your layer feed. Unfortunately, there are layer feeds that aren't balanced properly. We've dealt with that. We've chronicled that throughout the last couple of years. So I really don't want to keep going back over that part of it. But we had some bad feed. Chickens weren't doing good. They actually quit eating it. They weren't happy with it at all. So we switched to New Country Organics. Their classic layer feed, classic grind, soy-free layer feed, and that's what they're eating here, and that's what they're happy with. But like some feeds might have too much fatty acids in them, or too much of the wrong fatty acids in them, because like some are going to have omega-3s in them, and that's okay, because that's adding good stuff to your eggs and good stuff to your hens. But if they have the wrong stuff in them, then they might get fatty liver. But like, if you're concerned about your chickens getting a fatty liver necessarily, that's going to be really hard to do on just if you're just feeding them a good layer feed. Now, if you are wanting to know how much your hen should be eating, that's going to vary. Okay, that will vary upon what chicken you have, upon the season that they're in, their age. All these things can make a difference in how much they're eating. For instance, we have some chickens that are 9 years old almost and aren't laying eggs right now. The days are too short. Those chickens may not be eating as much, or they might be eating as much because, like that one right there in the middle, she's almost 9, and the one next to her is almost 9. Now we got a fight going on. Hey, come on, that's her sister. That was your sister. Quit doing that. But now they're gonna go eat side by side. Go figure. But a chicken that's 9 years old and not laying may not eat quite as much at this time of year. We're here February, what, 2nd? I think we're February 2nd today. So she's not laying eggs right now. But now she is putting on weight to get back to laying eggs. Now when she's molting, when she's losing feathers, she's gonna be low energy. There's gonna be less light outside. So she will not eat as much then as she eats in the spring. There's more in the spring. There's more light outside. She's gonna be up, being more active, and she's gonna be laying eggs. So their body's using more fuel than what she normally would. So the reality is there's different seasons for how much they eat even, and you can't really nail down they only need this much every day, no matter what. It's going to vary. Now some people will tell you a 1/4 cup of feed every day, which is low. Okay, that's low. Some people might tell you a 1/4 pound. It's getting closer. That's around there. Some people might tell you 3/4 of a cup. Maybe. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is, if you're concerned about a proper portion and not overfeeding and not underfeeding, what we do, we have a free choice feeder. And here you see this feeder. You feed in at the top. It comes down the bottom, and they just eat until they're tired of eating. Now you may see there that there was very little feed in that feeder. That's only because we have one hen who wants to scratch it all out and just waste it all. So if she's in there scratching it all, she'll keep scratching until there's no more feed left, and then all of a sudden there's not feed for the other hens to come around and eat. So that's why we have a lower amount of feed in there. But if you want to know how much you should be feeding your chicken, kind of measure it out. You know, if you got 6, 8, 10 hens, whatever you got, or measure out how much you put in there. Make sure it's plenty, right? And see how long it takes them to go through it. That's the simplest way to know how to budget and how much feed you should have on hand. But also be aware of the season that it's in, and do you have one hen consuming more than the others? Is she laying more than the others? Because she's going to eat more. The feed to egg or feed to layer ratio for every breed is going to be a little different. We've got several different breeds in here, and they're all going to be a little different. Like, for instance, we have 2 buff Brahmas. So this is one of the buff Brahmas, the big golden one here, and then we have a whiting true blue over here. 2 totally different chickens that are the exact same age. Those 2 hens are going to eat different amounts of feed. Just plain simple. They're not going to be the same. And now the little whiting true blue, she's going to lay more eggs, and maybe bigger eggs in reality than the bigger chicken. Because the big chicken there, the buff Brahma, they're just big balls of fluff that are happy to be alive and be fed. And she's going to lay an okay amount of eggs, while the whiting is going to lay a bunch of eggs and probably bigger eggs. But because the Brahma is bigger, they like to sit around and eat. It takes more to produce an egg from them. So you see, it's going to vary. They're not the same. And to believe there's a one set amount of feed that they all need is just an inaccurate way to believe about how to feed your chickens. They're not going to just keep eating until all the feed's gone. They'll eat as much as they need, and then they'll go away. That's just what it's going to be. Again, they're not all eating as we speak. They have plenty of food there, but they're not all eating as we speak. So understand that to get fatty liver in your hen, if you're concerned about that, they may be sitting around too much. So they're sitting around and not getting to move out, where those girls will get to move out here on the grass here in a little bit. And they're also getting a high quality balanced feed. The only way to hurt your chickens with their feed is to not let them get exercise, not let them get out, not give them enough space, and also to give them an imbalanced diet. To feed them scratch grains all the time, to feed them just corn, to feeding them just a terrible feed in general. That's the only way you can really hurt your chickens with their feed, is if you just simply don't give them a good, well-balanced food. So again, don't worry and fret about overfeeding them. You're not going to. As long as you love them chickens and are trying to take care of them, you're going to do the right thing. It's fine, and they'll eat as much as they need, and they'll move along. And honestly, the more food they eat, the better their eggs are, the more eggs they lay, and the bigger eggs they lay, to be honest with you, because they're well nourished, well taken care of. Now you can find charts and graphics online that's going to tell you an overconditioned bird looks like this, an underconditioned bird looks like this. maybe a little truth to that. But to get to that over-conditioned portion, it's gonna be more difficult. So again, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. Let your girls eat and they'll be just fine. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. My name is Jason. This is Art of Creational Homestead. We love y'all. God bless and goodbye.